violations, there's no injury time, and the match will not be stopped on those calls, okay? The match will not be stopped. Now, the interpretation that we're going to make, too, and we talked about this at the clinic in the summer, is the purpose of this rule is to condense the amount of stalling, condense the amount of match time, and make sure that you're not stalling or actually increasing the amount of match time. So, if a shoe is untied and the match is not stopped, they're probably, an official doesn't call it, he's probably going to let them wrestle. It's not affecting the match. So, but if he does see it, or if the shoe comes off, it's a stalling, okay? And the wrestling is going to continue, unless, again, that stalling call is a 2-point call and it requires you to stop because it's a choice of position, then you have to stop it. Doesn't that simplify things? Yeah. No technical violation? Yes, Sean.
If a shoe is, if a shoe is pulled off, it's not going to matter. It's still a stall. The guy.
I think if in the
Which I'm fine with. I'm just making sure I understand.
It's got to be.
Okay.
I mean, they just need to make sure it's tight enough it doesn't come off.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's in the book. It's just the shoe comes off or untied.
Yes, Coach.
Shoe comes off, keep wrestling.
No, if the shoe comes off, you're probably gonna call that because that's gonna affect the ability to wrestle, right?
Yeah. If there's an imminent scoring position, just no different than normally, like, you know, grabbing the clothing, that's all actually on the PowerPoint for the rules clinic. It's held the same way. You continue wrestling until actions, you know, can be stopped, you know, or go out of bounds with time.
Again, remember, the spirit of the rule is to keep wrestling, okay? And that's what we want to try to enforce this as. Any other questions on this one? He's going to get penalized for it, so he's been penalized. I mean, you know, you're not going to let him take forever. You're going to. I mean, he's already taken the.
Yeah, it's referee time.
Yeah, well, it's a little, if it comes off during the normal course of the match, but yeah.
They just got to be standard.
Yeah, but not in this particular case. Now, it's not a. You're saying if a shoe comes off, that's a stalling penalty. That's not, you know, you're giving him time to get it back on during the normal course of the match. You're calling a stalling penalty. So he's already been hit. Sure.
That's the referee.
I think his point was, how long does he get to do it? There's no
Not a specific time.
But we're
The
expecting.
referee will say, hey, let's get it on. Let's go.
Yeah, we're expecting him to move it on. Okay? Yes.
Normal stalling rules apply though. If in the event that the top wrestler ends a stall, action can stop.
Unless the bottom guy's coming out, you don't want to stop it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
yes. Yep. Offensive stall.
Yes, the stalling rules are going to apply as normal.
Yeah.
It's just a stalling call as opposed to all those other calls and injury timeouts and technical violations. Okay. Now, as Don said earlier, the object of these uniform rules between girls and guys is to treat them as equals, which they are. In my opinion, you put on a singlet, you strap on the shoes, you're a wrestler. Okay. So the key here is how do we make that happen? And again, it's talking about skin checks and weigh-ins being in the same room. So we're going to have to think about that, right? We're going to have to talk to coaches about have different locker rooms, let them get dressed, bring them into the skin check location, weigh-in location, already ready to go, okay? So that's what we're going to encourage. And guys, I officiate up in the Northeast Georgia area, so sometimes you don't have the facilities to be able to do that, and you have to be flexible, and we'll do that, okay? But that would be the thing I want you to start thinking about is have a separate locker room for the girls, separate locker room for the guys, get them ready, get them into the weigh-in areas, weigh-ins all the same, and then get them back. Now, in this particular thing, this particular rule talks about what do the girls have to wear, okay? So first of all, they have to wear a sports bra. It's all about coverage, okay? Nobody wants an unfortunate incident to happen, but that's what you have to do. They have to have a sports bra. A compression shirt may be worn, okay? Doesn't have to be worn it may be worn under a regulation singlet. Okay? Now, if with a, would be my advice to you. If the sports bra, in your opinion, doesn't provide the coverage you think it needs to provide, add a compression shirt to it. Okay? So sports bra, mandatory. Compression shirt, optional. Any question on that? I do not.
You're wearing it, so that's the way it is.
So
Hey, listen,
again, now that you can do a skin check and weigh in a sports bra with a singlet down to the waist. Okay. Or if they do wear a compression shirt, it'll be a compression shirt with the singlet down to the waist.
and they're allowed to wear compression shirts and shorts, but it's actually, if there's any exposure at all with a sports bra, they have to wear the compression shirt. Whether it's that in shorts or under their singlet, but they have to wear it. But that's got to be worn at weigh-ins. Now look, we all know skin checks can't be done quite the way that, that we're used to. Yeah, they still take their straps
Yes.
down.
They don't have to take their shoes completely off.
No,
more.
just straps down.
Stay on.
Last year we had referees.
Hang on,
Yeah,
we're gonna
something,
stop it.
if that kind of stuff happens, you need to go to the head official or either the head official or the head of that association.
Hold on, all right. If it happens to you this year, send me an email,
There you go.
period.
Oh, I'm sending you a text rather than.
All right, that's fine.
Hey, I'm staying outside, so I just gotta get that in.
Bottom line is, both of y'all have, if not, I'll give it to you, but you got my cell phone and they're making the guys take their singlet off, I wanna know immediately.
They gotta wear
And I
it.
wanna put the guy on the phone that's doing it.
They freaking wait.
Question.
Yes.
What about for double uniforms?
What?
The guys in double uniforms, compression top.
Guys will, yes. If a guy is doing a two-piece uniform and the top is a compression shirt, that's going to be off, and he'll weigh in just in the just in the wrestling shorts. Okay? Hold on, right here.
There, we had,
Right
did
here.
your question get answered yet?
No, I didn't.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't hear you.
Well, he just,
All right, you said they gotta wear, sports bra, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Comes down to literally 0.1 ounce or something like that on weight class. We're gonna disqualify
Got to
that girl.
you got to make the weight with the equipment. No change. You got to make the weight.
Yeah, the boy ain't got that. So you don't see the difference.
I see the difference, but it is something logistically you have to cover. That's the rule. You're not going to be. You don't get any uniform allowance for that.
Everybody, please.
That piece of equipment.
Even though it's required as a girl to have to wear.
It absolutely is. Yes.
We don't give it for the singlet or anything else, so, yes, sir. I can't hear if everybody's
Guys.
talking.
Quiet, guys.
So our boys and girls both wore the same takedown singlets the entire season, and that's sectional. They were told that they had to wear compression shirts because it was a boys' cut singlet.
So let me ask this question. You wore the same singlets all season, and we hate inconsistency, though that bothers me. But you wore the same singlets all season. Were the boys' singlets, and the girls' singlets, or were they both boys' singlets?
Both boys.
So they're both boys. Yeah.
Okay, so that's your issue, right? The boys' singlets are cut lower, as you know. Okay, and so if that doesn't provide the ample coverage in the opinion of that official, they're going to call it.
So that's the issue I'm talking about. It becomes kind of an opinion thing because, like, we saw other teams still wearing the same male singlets with sports bras, but then our team was required. So I kept going and saying, "Hey, this person is not," and they were like, "We don't." That's.
How many things in the rule book are opinion or,
I get it. I'm just saying more of like.
but that's, they make girls' uniforms, guys. They make girls' uniforms. We need to start buying girls' uniforms. It's becoming a full-fledged sport. We got to take care of the girls. They're going to grow this sport for us. Okay? Put girls in girls' uniforms as soon as you can. If you got to put them in boys, you got to have compression. Okay? My first couple of years doing wrestling, the exposure that we had with girls on the mat at the state
At the state
championship,
tournament.
on the World Wide Web, we got to try to cut that out. Okay? So, thank you. Sorry about it.
Any other questions before we move on?
I got a question. Why is it that the boys have to wear their straps down, but the girls can wear their compression shirts during skin checks?
So I'm going to give you the answer my opinion, I don't know.
It's a rule.
It's a rule.
The
That's
reason-
It's
it's a
dictated,
rule.
guys.
Freestyle and Greco, it's straps up, right? Straps up.
Yeah, Federation rule book.
So that rule's just passed down, so that's.
You gotta set
And
that
actually,
up,
you know, would it be a good thing? Is Carlos Manziel, who is right now, he's our Section 3 representative on the rules committee. He was at Brookwood and Archer this summer. I mean, that's a great guy to just get in his ear, because he, you know, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Carlos, he's a great guy and all, but he needs, hey, we put him out there where he
Well,
had
I
to
just
listen.
know, like, when we go up to South Carolina, you don't have to hold it down, and I was just
And
wondering.
he officiates in South Carolina.
And he's up there too. He probably wants to
Good
know
enough,
that.
okay.
And at the end of this year, every year,
I know.
you get a chance to submit rules changes.
Yes.
That's where
I
you
do.
point out that inconsistent you're talking about, which I think is a legitimate inconsistency. Put that up for a proposed rule change.
And you get the questionnaire every year too, so fill those out. They look at them.
Just so I'm clear, girls are either straps up or compression top.
Straps up all the time.
Straps up
Oh,
all the time.
oh,
No, for skin checks, if they
Skin
got,
checks, they're
skin
down.
checks, it's a, guys, if you, try to keep it down so people can hear. If they've got a sports bra on, just a sports bra, it's straps down. If it's a sports bra and a compression shirt, we weigh them in, still straps down, but the compression shirt and the sports bra.
Okay, so if it's sports bra, can they have on compression bottom?
Yes,
So compression bottoms, you just sports.
yes.
And they're wrestling in the
They're gonna have
shirt,
the compression shirt anyway over that, right? You've got the compression shorts.
Hold on, guys.
Wait, we gotta check something.
Well, they can't, you're asking if they can wrestle in a sports bra.
We gotta go
No,
by,
no,
we
he's
gotta
asking
go by
about weight.
whatever.
You don't have to weigh the shirt.
We're not sure about the straps having to be up or come down with a sports bra. He's
I
trying
think
to.
it's straps.
I
For
don't
some
think
reason,
so. I don't think so.
I saw something about it.
Well, it's not in the summary. So what he's looking that up, we'll come back, let's move on, so we won't keep you here all day. Let's see. Okay, this is the good one. So what Don was talking about earlier, and this goes back to the gentleman over here in the red hat. Over time, these rules have been changed to try to increase participation in sports and make it more fair and more equitable. So you brought up some legitimate issues today that I think you should probably submit requested rule changes, but they're trying to remove these barriers that prevent participation. You want your wrestlers on the mat. We want your wrestlers on the mat. So we're not looking for petty reasons to keep them off the mat. We're looking for reasons to get them on the mat. So you think about the two-piece uniform rules, the hair rules, the separate weight class rules, all of that is happening to increase participation. So we're trying to eliminate rule-based reasons that people can't participate. Now, that necessarily doesn't eliminate equity reasons like you're talking about, right? So continue, to force those issues, because again, I think that's a legitimate issue. All right, last slide, guys.
We're going to,
Hold on.
we're going to ask for clarification on this because it doesn't say either way in the rule book. And by the way, buying a rule book online and so it's on your phone is a really good thing because you can search on it and go straight to the rule you're looking for.
Are you is the GHSA gonna do the same thing they did last year?
That's only official. We don't do it.
Still not like,
Okay.
still not.
But it says they have to wear what they have to wear, what they have to have.
Change their weight.
Right now, we're gonna get clarification. For right now, girls' skin checks will be with them up. We're not gonna expose the sports bra, okay? They're gonna be with them up for now, okay?
All right, so I guess we'll follow up.
Now, and then we'll follow up if what changes.
All right, so just in summary, and we've got a couple other things to cover. Wrestling right now is the 7th most popular sport in the U.S. About 250,000 participants in 11,000 schools. There are 21,000 girls in 3,000 schools.
I just read on the
Well, this deck came from the summer, so yours probably better data. So if it's getting
this one just came out.
6th to
It just
5th,
came out 2
so
days ago.
there you go. There we go. all right, so we'll talk about a couple of other
It's not
things.
too late to change. You can get better.
So how mmany of you are brand new officials?
Get that hat off.
Brand new coaches, I'm sorry. Never coached before. Okay, so look, again, everybody wants these matches to work as smoothly as possible. And nobody on the coaching side or the official side ever wants to make a bad call that costs a participant a match, okay? But guess what? Officials aren't perfect, coaches aren't perfect. So, but they're sort of symbiotic. They work together to make these matches happen. Coach Maldonado asked me a little bit earlier, talk to you about, especially the new coaches, about the proper way to approach a table. Shane, quit smiling. So, when you approach the table, I'm going to give you the secret, okay, for the proper way to approach the table. Somebody, anybody, tell me what's the question, get out of jail free card question you can ask when you go to the table. What did you see? That is it. Okay? Can you help me understand what you saw there? Can you tell me, preferably not yelling in their ear, but can you tell me what you saw? You're giving the official a chance to tell you what he saw. If what he saw is inconsistent with the application of a rule, guess what? Now, the other thing that question allows you to do is by asking that question, you're not questioning judgment. Okay? You're not questioning judgment. You're asking the official to relay to you what he saw. I'm telling you, so you new coaches, that's your get out of jail free card.
But he has to change that call.
Well, we haven't talked about that piece yet.
Yeah, but he has to, okay, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that piece. So
If he doesn't change the call.
there's two things that are going to happen, right, when you come to the table. The official is going to change the call and get it right, or if he doesn't change the call, what does he have to do?
Warning.
No option, okay? Got to do a coach's misconduct.
We have a lot of referees in Georgia that won't do that.
That's-
We have a lot of referees won't. They're gonna start.
Even for a rule interpretation.
No, you're not.
If they don't change it, if they still feel like they're right, it's a warning.
So remember, let's talk about that process. You've asked for them to tell you what they saw. If they tell you what they saw and you don't think you've got a rules interpretation issue, you're going to go sit down because there's nothing for you to question. No. If you do think that there is one and you're saying, well, that's inconsistent with this rule, and he subsequently doesn't agree with you and doesn't change, that's the call, okay?
You better be nicer than you normally are, I'm just telling you.
Wait a minute. On the initial ask,
So it just, what did you see?
can you tell me what you see, what you saw?
Yeah,
That
but
doesn't
still,
get us a
when
warning.
you go
No,
out there, you gotta-
that doesn't give you a warning. If you say, what did you saw, and he says, this is what I saw, and you don't say anything else, that's not coach's misconduct. You didn't question anything.
If you go to the table, you have to either be warned or something's gotta be changed.
Now, if they ask, what did you see, and you say, this is what I saw, and it was a clarification, they can go back. I think that's right.
Anytime you go to that table.
Wrestle for it.
I just give it up. I just give it up.
But if you watch the college stuff, I mean, coaches know they go to the table, they know they're getting warned. It's not a big deal to them, right? So that's just kind of, okay, yeah, that's enough. You know, like where if you had me for a referee and good for you, I don't get out much anymore. But I never would warn anybody, right? I mean, if somebody went to the table, I just never did it, and it made it harder on the other guys.
It's still inconsistently applied. As you can see right here, we have a different interpretation of what that is, but it's still inconsistently applied. But what it's designed to do, number one, it's not going to be capricious or arbitrary, but it's designed to keep you from doing that all the time. Save the times that you go for something that you really need. And again, this is just my opinion, so you can take it for what it's worth. If you're going to bark at the official all the time, when you do come to the table, you haven't set yourself up for success. But if you save your questions for when you really need them. Who was a master at that? Cliff Ramos. Cliff Ramos would see things. Cliff Ramos knew the rule book better than any official in the state. He knew if he had a rules violation, but if he didn't need that call at that particular point in time, he wouldn't say anything. Now, when he did come to the table, he's got you. He's got you. And you knew it, right? You knew it. So I'm just saying, make sure that you're setting yourself up for success by not abusing your ability to go to the table and ask a question. You had a question?
How many questions will you get before we get to the time?
One. First one.
One.
First one you get warned, second one you get hit.
Second one, you get penalized.
Yeah. Third one, you're
Get
you're
to go
watching from
outside
the
and look
parking
through the
lot.
window.
Well,
Okay.
that's going to happen. It's going to happen. You want to talk
I mean,
about it?
if you have a problem with an official, don't stand there and get yourself in more trouble. Go to the website, go to our website on the forums page, go on unsatisfactory officiating report. It'll come to me, it will be investigated. We will try to improve the behavior of the official if he's wrong. We won't let you know the outcomes because sometimes we have to be punished. But that's your method of trying to make officials better.
Sean,
Yes.
just because, and this may be when you're with the officials, I'll ask, because I got hit a couple times, because they'd hit the kipper, unnecessary roughness or a legal hold, and they're in a position where I can't say what when he called. And I'm asking the official, I go to the table, what did you see? I said, can you tell him what he did wrong? I can't coach my kid, and I was getting hit for misconduct. So I just want to understand.
So let me commit. If it's okay, I'm going to commit. Let us follow up on that. Whether if they ask the question, if they say, "What did you see?" and tell them what you, do we have to hit them? Let us follow up on that. Is that okay?
A slide will be added.
We'll have something on the rules clinic.
The slide will be added to the PowerPoint.
That was just a situation because
No, I get it, and that's why again.
When you
My
do
first
the
batch-
online rules clinic that's mandatory, there'll be a slide on there clarifying that.
So I'll just admit to you right now, I've been doing this for a few years. I've been doing it wrong. If you have to hit them every time, because I've allowed you to ask a question to say what you've seen. I didn't see that as a
He's
question in the rule.
comfortable.
So
He's confident. He knows what he's doing.
well, I mean, even the Fargo wrestler was asking.
Well, Fargo,
yeah, whole different
different
world. Okay. Again, remember
another
officials.
question up there.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I actually think that's a really good idea. Like the NCAA's, they put numbers on the back of the officials that makes it easier to evaluate them,
Identify.
look at performance.
So where they can run over and say, number 15 sucks.
No, probably not.
Put their names on the back of it.
Well,
Put their address and phone number.
it's a little difficult in a lot of different ways, but we'll look into it. But the numbers, but if you have a problem at state about an official, Bud's at the table, head table with me. He knows who's on what.
I'll tell you to
all the
go
time.
see Don, he's sitting right there.
And we can give you the name if you don't get it, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, typically, I would submit somebody in that area is going to know who that official is. So if you have an issue,
Yeah.
again, find out who the official is, take them at the head table.
Yeah,
okay?
come. We'll find
Hey,
out.
Sean,
And
two
look,
man
we have
mechanics
a signing.
to ask you to check with somebody else, is that gonna get us in trouble?
Absolutely would not. If you say, would you please ask your assistant? I think, now, two-man mechanics, if the official asks, if the coach asks the head official to please check with your assistant, there's nothing with, now they'll go talk to the assistant, they'll either overturn it or they'll say, no, it's the same call and you're off. But
There's a number of
no
officials
penalty
that will do that. They'll say, okay, and they'll stop and ask, they'll go. And now I'm gonna tell you, there's some guys that'll say, no, I know what I'm doing. I mean,
Yeah,
I can name all 10 of them.
that's a
right
whole
now.
separate, that's a whole separate issue though, guys. That's a whole separate
Yeah,
issue.
and
All
it's
right,
just a personality.
I promise you, no official is out to get you or your kids. Okay? But there's two different sets of standards. There's the official's job is to try to get the call right. Okay? The coach's job is to try to get the call right in favor of their kid. Okay? So there's two different competing sets of priority there that doesn't always match up. Okay? But I will tell you, I don't think I can't say that. I've seen very rare cases where I would consider an official's actions to be punitive. I have seen it, unfortunately. But Shane, just turn around. But I still think, we're forming an ecosystem here, getting these wrestlers, getting the sport done, and getting these wrestlers in and off the mat. So we're going to work together one way or the other. I think you guys get that wrestlers, coaches aren't out to get you, officials aren't out to get you or a wrestler. Most officials don't even know who you are, right? So I don't think they're out to get you. All right, last thing. There is a tremendous shortage of officials, okay? Where our brand new officials have been coming from in All South over the last several years, and it's worked out pretty well, is we will talk to coaches throughout the year and we say, do you have any graduating seniors that are going to college in this area of the state that need a job, okay? And that's where we're getting them. So college freshmen or anybody in college that's in your general area or anywhere, we'll get them to, so if you're in the south area of the state and you got somebody going to the northeast Georgia State, we will get them to the right person. But think about this. This is a perfect job for college freshmen. They can work whenever they want to. They can block their schedules. They work nights, which is after school. They work Saturdays, so they still got Sundays to study. We pay them throughout the year. We put money in their pocket. We don't make them make a big investment and then wait till the end of the year. So we're giving them spending money all along. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. For every 10 new officials that we get, we keep 2. But that's our association will keep 2. Some of these go officiate in other associations. Some of these just stop officiating because the job that they get is not conducive to officiating, or they may get married or have kids. It just doesn't work out. But that is a great source. So what I'd ask you to be thinking about is look at your teams every year. Look at the seniors that meet those criteria that you think would make good officials, and talk to your officiating organization. Because, we need officials. We're going to get to the point where we're going to have to change, we'll have to consider changing the nights that we do tournaments, or changing dual nights, or that kind of thing. That's like the football organizations are doing now. They're starting to run football games on Thursdays. So think about those guys that can come in as a college freshman and help out. Yes.
What does a young starting official earn?
It's a pay raise this year.
So-
Every class cycle.
What is it? If you're a college freshman starting out.
It all depends on what they referee. Like a JV level, dual meet, 9th grade, what's it, like 60
I can tell you real.
plus travel. But I'll give you a for instance. We've got college kids, and I want to say 7 of them right now, and every one made over $2,000 last year.
I was going
One
to
made
say
over
between
4,000.
I was going to say between 2 and 3.
Yeah, we have one at University of Georgia that made $4,200. That's a pretty good part-time job for a college kid. We hope we keep them.
We want to keep them.
Varsity officials are making 86 per dual match, 75 for a tri or a quad match,
And then it's like either $450 or
and
$500 a match.
$550.
$550.
$550 for an individual match.
Varsity, right?
And guys, that's
That's varsity.
But for new
JV is
kids.
65 for a dual and 5 for an individual match.
Plus travel.
Plus travel, one official travel is 30. If more than one are going, there's less.
and guys, we're talking about just GHSA and GSA affiliated stuff
Yeah.
here. We haven't even started talking about USA yet. Okay, so we get the new officials in, and we let them get experienced at USA to begin with. And I'm telling you, North Hall. Where's North Hall at? North Hall had a USA tournament that went from like 9 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. You didn't get off the mat, and the officials went home with a big smile on their face that day. you had college freshmen that took their biggest paycheck ever home, and they were just jumping up and down. And that's, so, you know, that's additional opportunity, additional revenue income that they get with that. It's not affiliated with the GHSA necessarily. Any other questions? That's all the slides I had. Any other questions about rules or anything else? Yes, sir.
Are there any conversations going on about video reviews for bad time wrestling?
No,
Not that I know of.
no,
Do
no,
video.
no sport,
No.
none in
You
Georgia
won't
High
see
School.
it in high school, just because of the cost. And that's one of the reasons we can't ever get to the college out of bounds. Because the cost for 10% of the schools in the country, they can't afford new mats. But the video review, you'd have to have, there again, National Federation of High School says by 2025, everything will be live streamed. So at that point in time, maybe it is. But we're told all the time at the rules meetings, that's not even considered.
And I will tell you, too, video review doesn't solve everything. Video review can be controversial as well. Okay?
I was specific just for bad time wrestling, like time's ran out, the table didn't notify the ref, and he's watching the wrestling, not the clock, and there's a takedown to where the pin happened.
And I think maybe there's gonna be a time for that one day, but right now, to make sure every match, let's just say every varsity match alone is videotaped so you can get that off of, is almost impossible, you know. And I wouldn't even think we got 50% of the varsity matches that there's enough on it to cover that. So I think there's got to be a higher percentage.
Well, I wasn't talking about like an official video, like, I mean, but everyone videos every match pretty much that
You know, if we're going to video, it'd have to be an official video of that school.
You can't have a parent come out.
We're not gonna have a parent.
I mean, you know,
Well, but you'd be surprised how many don't video everything.
And then another thing too, you go, what about the angle of that parent? And then we're going, you know, versus an angle from right on the head
But
table.
what you're
or
saying,
the
bad time too?
yeah.
I mean, how much bad time do you see?
Well, I saw enough last year at the area tournament, so my kids didn't go to state.
Yeah.
Like that happened twice in the same tournament, same paperwork. So and, you know, and again, if
Right.
it was specific,
Well, and
and
one
if the
thing
video
too.
didn't show it, then you don't overturn it, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of where I was at.
But one thing too, there, I would expect an unsatisfactory officiate report, and with that, you can turn in video.
Oh, I was
Okay? Yeah, we can turn in video if you have it.
Hey, Don, we even determined in Auburn last year, officials had some bracelets that somehow connected.
It
Yeah, they
buzzed.
buzzed and
Yeah,
stopped that.
We looked at getting enough for the state tournament, and you got to buy a new clock and buy a transmitter in the clock, and it's pretty expensive. I want to say it's like $240, $250 per official.
So any other questions,
If
guys?
anybody wants us to experiment with it, we'll be glad.
Anything else? All right, good luck this season, Coach.
Hey, give a hand to Sean.